video, we're diving into whether or not you should put your car under your LLC and what that even means when it comes to taxes, write-offs, and doing things by the book. What's going on, everyone? My name's Eric Hunsaker, and on this channel, we cut through the fluff to help you make smarter business decisions without getting buried in legal or tax confusion. So let's break it down. Why there's so much confusion about vehicles and LLCs. Now, if you've ever wondered, should I put my car under my business? You're not alone. This is one of those topics that gets thrown around in entrepreneur circles all the time. But most people are just guessing when they talk about it. Here's the thing. Most of us buy a car before we even think about forming an LLC. So naturally, once you start your business, you might start wondering if you can shift that vehicle into your business somehow and start writing off the cost. Or maybe even looking to buy a newer car and thinking, should this go under the business instead of my personal name? But the IRS doesn't make this stuff super clear. They don't exactly hand you a checklist that says, yep, put it under your LLC and you're good. Instead, you get a bunch of vague language and a bunch of Reddit threads full of conflicting answers. And maybe a buddy who swears their CPA told them just to deduct everything. So let's clear this up. What the IRS actually cares about. First off, let's talk about what matters to the IRS. And spoiler alert, it's not just what name is on the car title. The IRS doesn't necessarily care who owns the vehicle on paper. What they care about is, are you using the car for business purposes? How much are you using it for business? Are you keeping proper records to back that up? And the magic number you need to keep in mind is 50%. If you're using the vehicle for business more than half the time, you're probably in a position to write off some serious costs. But you've got to prove it. It's not about guessing or saying, yeah, I think I use it for work a lot. You need to track mileage, log trips, or keep receipts. If you're audited, the IRS is going to ask, can you show us exactly how you use this car for business? If you don't have the proof, the deductions might not hold up. The three main ways to deduct a vehicle. Now let's talk about how you actually get the tax benefits. There are three main ways to deduct vehicle expenses when you're using your car for business. 1, the actual expense method. This method is exactly what it sounds like. You track the actual money you spend on the car. That includes gas, oil changes, insurance, repairs, tires, maintenance, and even car washes if they're related to work. Let's say over the course of a year, all those costs added up to $10,000. If you use your car 70% of the time for business, you could potentially deduct $7,000 from your taxable income. It's a big deal, but it comes with work. You'll need to keep track of every single expense. That means saving receipts, tracking transactions, and ideally using a business bank account so that everything is easy to find at tax time. It's a little more work, but if your car is expensive to operate or you don't drive a ton of miles, could be the better option. 2, the standard mileage method. The second option is a lot simpler. Instead of tracking all your expenses, you just track your business miles. The IRS gives you a standard rate and it changes year to year, but let's say it's around 65 cents per mile. So if you drive 10,000 miles for business in a year, then that's a $6,500 deduction. And the best part, you don't have to track gas or oil changes or anything else, just your mileage. Apps like MileIQ, Everlance, or even QuickBooks can do this automatically. Just log your trips, categorize them, and you're set. This method works best for people who rack up a lot of miles but don't have huge car costs. Think realtors, sales reps, service providers, people who are constantly on the road. Depreciation, including Section 179 and bonus depreciation. This one is where things can get a little more advanced, but can also save you the most money. If you own your vehicle and it's used more than 50% for business, you can depreciate the value of that vehicle over time. The IRS lets you write off a portion of the car's value every year for 5 years. Let's say you buy a $40,000 SUV. You might be able to write off $8,000 per year just in depreciation. And if the vehicle is classified as heavy, over 6,000 pounds, like a G-Wagon, Range Rover, or a big pickup truck, you might even qualify for Section 179, which lets you write off most, if not all, of the value in the first year. It's a powerful move, but it only works if you use the car primarily for business. And if you sell the car later, you might have to deal with something called depreciation recapture, basically paying taxes on the amount you wrote off. So again, keep records and talk to a tax pro before jumping in. Should you actually title the car under the LLC? Here's where it gets interesting. A lot of people assume that if they want to write off their vehicle, they have to put it under the LLC's name. But that's not true. You can still deduct mileage, actual expenses, and even depreciation for a car that's in your personal name, as long as you're using it for business and tracking it. So why do some people title their car under their LLC? Let's break it down. When it makes sense to title the car under your business. Putting the vehicle under your business name is usually about liability and separation. If your car is used 100% for business, like a work van, delivery vehicle, or something that your employees drive, then putting it in the LLC's name might make sense. Keeps things clean, the car belongs to the business, The insurance is business insurance. The liability is on the company, not you. It also helps with credit. If you're trying to build business credit or get a business auto loan, the lender might require the vehicle to be titled under the business name. But for solo business owners, especially ones using the car for both work and personal life, it's usually simpler to keep it in your own name and just track business use. How to set up your LLC with LegalZoom. So if you're ready to set up your LLC and you're considering using a service to help, we recommend LegalZoom. It's a popular option. They simplify the process of forming your business entity, ensuring that you meet all the legal necessary requirements. Here's a basic guide on how to get started. First, just click the link down in the description, which will bring you to this page right here. From here, we'll click on Start My Business, and here you can choose a different kind of business you want to start. For now, we'll do the limited liability company, but if we scroll down, we can click on Learn More right here and see the different packages that they offer. They've got the basic plan, which is free. You just pay state filing fees. There's the Pro plan, which is $249 plus state filing fees, and you get everything in the basic package, plus an operating agreement, an EIN, bookkeeping tools, access to over 150 customizable legal documents, unlimited e-signatures, and a customizable website powered by Wix. And then there's a premium plan, which is $299 plus state filing fees. And this gives you everything in the Pro, plus you get advice from experienced attorneys. So I'll click on Basic and click on Form My LLC for now. Type in the name of my business, where it's located, primary contact, what industry I'm in, click Next. Then you can go ahead and select your plan. Now again, we went with the basic plan, which is free, just pay state filing fees. But here we can go ahead and add some things that are available in the paid packages, but you get them at a discount. You just don't get things like the website, the bookkeeping tools, and speaking to experienced attorneys. So I'll go ahead and select this one where I get the operating agreement, the EIN, forms, and e-sign. I'll say no thanks to the business bank account. I'll choose the standard processing and I'll skip the founder's kit. And then from here, you can see that we're gonna get all that for only $289. So again, if you want to get started with LegalZoom, click the link down below in the description. So using a service like LegalZoom can streamline the LLC formation process, helping you avoid common errors and ensuring compliance with state regulations. While convenient, it's always advisable to consult with a legal professional or tax advisor to ensure that your LLC structure aligns with your specific business goals and tax strategies. Pros and cons of titling a car under the LLC. Now, there are a few advantages to having a vehicle under your LLC. It might protect your personal assets in case of an accident or lawsuit. Keeps your books cleaner. No more mixing personal and business gas receipts. Gives your business more credibility when applying for loans or vendor accounts. But there are downsides too. Business insurance is usually more expensive than personal. If your business is new, getting approved for financing under the LLC can sometimes be tough. Selling the car later can trigger taxes, especially if you wrote off depreciation. Bottom line, if the vehicle is mostly personal with some business use, keep it in your name. If it's a dedicated business vehicle, consider titling it under the LLC. The G-Wagon myth and Section 179 truths. So you've probably seen influencers talk about writing off a G-Wagon and how it's a tax hack. And yes, technically there's some truth to it. Vehicles over 6,000 pounds can be eligible for full write-offs under Section 179 if they're used for business more than 50% of the time. But that doesn't mean you should go buy a $100,000 SUV just to save on taxes. First, you need the cash or financing to buy the car in the first place. Second, if you don't actually use it for business, the IRS can come knocking. And third, if you sell it in a year or two, you'll likely owe taxes on the amount you wrote off. So yeah, it's a legit deduction, but it only works if it's legit use. Best practices for vehicle write-offs. So here's what you should do to stay out of trouble and get the biggest deduction you can. Track your business mileage. Seriously, just get an app. It takes 5 minutes a week. Keep every receipt for gas, repairs, insurance, anything related to the vehicle. Decide early if you want to use actual expenses or mileage. Once you pick, you're generally locked in for that vehicle. Talk to your CPA if you're buying a new vehicle and you want to maximize the tax benefit. Don't push it. The IRS knows the vehicle deduction game. If you claim 100% business use for a car that clearly isn't, it could trigger an audit. So putting a car under your LLC isn't a must, and it's not some secret tax loophole. But if done right, it can help you get better tax write-offs, create separation between business and personal assets, and run a cleaner, more professional operation. Just make sure your business truly needs the vehicle and that you're using it the way you say you are. So if you want to get started with setting up your LLC or holding company, you'll find the links down in the description below. These are affiliate links, which means we do earn a small commission when you use them at no extra cost to you. And these commissions really help support the channel and allow us to continue to create free content just like this. So if you end up using them, we really appreciate it. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Here on the LLC channel, we cover everything you need to know about forming, managing, and scaling your LLC or holding company, plus smart tax strategies and business tips to help you grow. So be sure to subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you here in the next video.